Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
I'm Mac.
And I'm Pepper.
And today we're going to go over some stats from our top 50 games of all time.
Yes, we are pretty much capping off our top 50 series with this. Just kind of recapping how things changed in our list from last year to this year. Now that we finally have been doing it a second year,
Yes.
get some reference.
Some exciting things to look at for all of us, especially Michaela, who hasn't looked at any of these stats yet, so she's going to be just as shocked as all of you.
It's a blind reaction video.
But yeah, we'll just be doing a few random things. I don't know that there's any particular stats we're looking at. So,
oh, okay.
Definitely, if we go through this and there's some other stats you're interested in, let us know in a comment below, and we'll see if we can figure that out. I thought we could just start off with, from all of our lists, the publisher that appeared the most.
Oh.
And this could count as like multiple times with the same game, depending on if we pick the same game or not. And just looking at this list, we just kind of went through some that we knew had many. I think the most popular one that we had was Stonemaier Games, with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different entries, 7 of which were Michaela's. So that was the one that
how many does he have? 13 games?
Yes. So that, I believe that was the one that was on yours the most. By one, actually.
Oh, what was the other one?
Well, you'll find out.
Oh, okay.
Wow, she's trying to get this extra information right off the bat. But yeah, and then I had 4 of those, and you only had 2. What do you have to say for yourself?
I had more the previous year, I know that.
Some of them just dropped off?
Some of them dropped off, but as we've been playing more and more of these Stonemaier games lately, because we are doing a Stone Timber celebration.
Yes.
10 years of Stonemaier games. So we've been playing that, and I feel like a couple of the games that we've gotten back to could have made that top 50.
Ooh.
Made the list. So yeah, you'll have to check those out and see how they all rank for Pepper. See what those top 2 are, if they're still the same ones that were on his list. But then it looks like the second most was actually Renegade Games. And then that was the one you had the second most of.
Oh.
And she had 6. And the even crazier thing about this was that Pepper had none on any Renegade Games.
Wow.
No
They had 10
Renegade
total.
games.
6 for her, 4 were me. But they do many of the games with Garfield games, so those kind of comboed together, and I don't know that you had many of those on there. I think the only one you had was one that actually, I don't know if Renegade does do it.
Only Garfield, I believe.
Yeah, so, which, was, I'm blanking, Raiders of Scythia.
Yes. And technically, Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done was on my list. We have the Tasty Minstrel Games version. It is now a Renegade game. So,
That's
could
true.
maybe count as one, but still not many.
That is true. But yeah, so then our next highest one would be Z-Man Games, which had 8 different entries in there. 4 of which were Pepper's.
Ooh.
So you made up half of them. And then me and Mac both had 2 apiece.
That's true. That's true. The Oniverse of games, Onirum and Nautillion, those are Z-Man, and obviously Pandemic, Carcassonne. Some great games.
Yeah, and I would say the last 2 to mention would be Garfield Games and Seamon, which both had 7 apiece as well. And those were, Seamon was a little bit more of a mix, had 3 for me, 2 for Michaela, and 2 for you. And Garfield had 3 for both me and Michaela, and 1 for you. So, yeah.
The odd man out.
The odd man out indeed. So yeah, I'm trying to look here. So I think your most popular one was Z-Man Games, it looks like. Yours, like we said, was Stonemaier. And mine was a tie between Renegade and Stonemaier as well. So, with 4. Interesting. But I think that can kind of vary though too. Like you said, now Renegade is going to be doing Crusaders, so how useful that information is.
Yeah.
There's some that's probably more useful for than others, like maybe Stonemaier Games.
Yeah.
But then along with that kind of, but a little more narrowed in, are the designers on all of our lists.
Oh.
The most common. Do you have any idea? What would be your guess at the most common, Mackie?
You guys always tease me about Bruno. So, Bruno?
He is tied.
Thala? What's his last name?
Bruno Catala.
Catala. Who do you think he's tied with?
Jamie Stegmaier.
Okay, she got them both. Good guesses. That was a fair guess once you saw how many Stonemaier games were on there. And yeah, they're both tied with, we got here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 showing up on each one of theirs. For Bruno, Jesse does a lot of the work there with 5 of the 9, and then we each have 2 apiece.
I technically even included even one more. I just had Nagaraja and Raptor for one spot, so only counts as one entry here, but was actually 2 Bruno games.
That is true.
So he'll get the tie break between him and Jamie.
Wow. But yeah, for Jamie, you only have 1. And then I've got 3, and Michaela has 5.
Oh,
so I think that's your most common
5
there.
knuckle shuffle.
Which we could have probably guessed based on Stonemaier games, but yeah. And then we've also, I think the next highest is a tie between Shem Phillips and Rob Davio with 6 apiece. And for those, I have 3 for each of them. And then for Rob Davio, you have the other 3, so you don't have any. And then for Shem Phillips, you've got 2, and Jesse has 1. So
yeah,
those are interesting. I guess.
Do you know Rob Davio? He's kind of restoration games. It's included with that, Unmatched. He also worked on Cthulhu, Death May Die, I think it was, and Pandemic Legacy, Season 1.
So all the ones. I would say there's potential for him to be on my list someday.
Yeah.
With Unmatched, maybe?
Maybe.
Probably not. We'll see. Maybe. Yeah, what do you think? Do you think Shem Phillips will keep going up? No!
I don't know.
What about the new trilogy?
We'll see what is it? East? Sands
South.
of the East? Oh.
South Tigers.
South Tigers.
Sands of the East.
All I can think
You
of.
heard it here first. The next one.
All I can think of is when you sent me the pictures of the boxes and you're like, what would you name this or whatever? And I think I said like Sands of the East or something like that. And so I just think of that. So I don't even know what they're called. In my head, I just pictured the sand boxes.
Okay. And
We'll see, maybe.
I think the last one to mention would be Wolfgang Warsch, which this is Pepper again, 3 of him, and 1 for each of us. He makes like the Quacks.
The Doctor has like a million board games and he didn't make it?
Rainer Knizia did not make it.
No. How about Uwe?
Uwe did not make it. Did we have an Uwe Rosenberg game on any of our lists?
Wow. Uwe, if you're watching this.
I don't think so. Although we do own quite a few.
I was going to say.
That's true.
Anytime we pull out
not quite there. Although a lot of them are big and hard to get to the table.
That's true. Yeah. That is true. Yeah, I think those are the main ones to mention. So yeah, you, Bruno was probably your most populated, it looks like, with 5. And yours was Jamie with 5. And then for me, I've got a 3-way crossover amongst Jamie, Shem, and Rob Davio.
He just
for
couldn't
3
choose.
apiece. So yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. I'm surprised you guys have kind of those big things, and then I've just got a bunch of them all around the same amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes me just a slightly better gamer, better open-minded.
Wow.
No, you guys just know what you like. And I apparently don't know what I like. I like a lot.
Mac is clearly the biggest Stonemaier fan.
I didn't know it until right now. Even though I'm wearing the Stonemaier shirt.
I was going to say, I'm like, you should give me all your merch, because...
Wow. So now we're going to get into the real good stuff. We're going to be looking at our individual lists. I want to test you on your own list, see if you know. Right off the bat, we're going into number of cooperative games. What are you doing?
Cheating.
How many cooperative games do you think you have on your list? Or who out of the 3 of us do you think has the most, and how many do you think are on yours?
I think I have 1 cooperative game. Sort of. Is Between Two Castles cooperative?
No.
Then I have none.
Oh boy.
You are wrong. You've got 2. I should have wrote them down. I think it's just
Just one?
just one, and then I think there was one other one.
Well,
Okay.
Fox in the Forest.
Duet.
Oh.
And
Yes.
Forgotten Waters is on there as well.
Oh, I forgot Fox
That's
in the Forest
co-op?
Duet. I forgot Fox in the Forest Duet. So that is 3.
3 co-op games.
Wow.
That's
Mac.
it.
Co-op.
See, I do not consider Forgotten Waters co-op. I guess it is. And I also didn't consider the other one.
Just one?
It's a party game in my head.
Okay.
Party games can be cooperative.
I know, but
What kind of cutthroat parties are you going to, Mac?
Wow. Even when she's at a party, she doesn't want to be.
Yeah, you're
Good
probably
Lord,
you're
murder
probably
mystery.
right. I guess I just don't think of them in that context.
But yeah, so then you've got 3, which ties me. I believe I have 3 as
Wow.
well. And then Pepper has 8.
8.
Wow.
Well, that kind
Which
of
is-
complements itself to solo
I
play.
was just gonna say,
That's true.
is that because they're solo playable?
Not all of them, because I did ask him afterwards. I said I didn't count Coffee Roaster.
Yeah.
But that's a
Collaborative
solo
with
game.
one.
Right, so I didn't know if that counted or not. So, but yes, I
Yeah.
think they can be played kind of as
Yeah.
solo. But yeah, and then I went on to look, and I don't know. These could be off slightly, but Kickstart. So games that were originally on Kickstarter, not that we kickstarted them when they went through, but at the initial release they were kickstarted. How many do you think you had, Mackie? Out of 50.
One.
What if I told you it was 15?
Really?
Yes.
I have no idea where these games come from. They just show up on our shelf, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I guess we're playing a
I
new
would
one.
guess out of those, though, we've probably only actually kickstarted maybe a couple, a few at most. And then you've got 14. This one actually surprised me because I would have guessed
Yeah.
you would have had
I would've-
the most.
Yeah, I would think so with my kind of more epic type
Right,
Wow.
of games and themes that they would be kickstarted, but
right. And then I've got 24. Almost half my list,
Wow.
which is crazy to me.
You're such
There
a
were
hipster.
There were some in there that I was like, because I was going through, at least on Board Game Geek, so that's why I'm saying there could be some leeway one way or another, whether or not they really were or not. But I was just like, wow, I didn't know some of these games were originally Kickstarters.
Wow.
But yeah, it was
that is
crazy.
I can't believe it's half your list.
I know. But we certainly did not Kickstarter that many.
No.
I'm glad to hear this.
Wow. She doesn't believe me. She doesn't
Kickstart his
believe me.
heart.
Wow. But then, yeah, we go into crossovers between each of us. And I'll give you the 2021 crossovers.
Okay.
So, in 2021, the crossover between me and you were 23 games. And the crossovers between you and Jesse were 21 games. And then the crossovers between me and Jesse were 20 games. How many do you think you crossed over with me this year?
Less than last year. 15.
You are right that it was less. But by one.
Oh, really?
22 this year. But how about with Jesse? So you're 21 with him last year.
Less. Definitely less. 10.
You're close. 13. So still quite a bit of crossover, but yeah, I'm actually surprised at mine and Jesse's. So you're 20 last year.
Less.
Same amount.
Oh.
Because it does seem like he's added some new ones on his list that I haven't really played. So it is
Yeah.
surprising that it would stay the same.
Yeah.
It's like really odd because it's like I feel like you game this way and Jesse games this way, and I like cut down the middle of that. So
Yeah. Yeah, but also we'll might get to it. There were a couple games that Mac and I had last year that you did not, that you did end up adding on this year. So I guess that could make up a little bit for games that I'm
Right.
kind of branching off and playing.
That's true. But yeah, so I think the most shocking of that one is the difference between you and Jesse
Yeah.
has grown that much. Considering the rest of them are very close.
Yeah.
Well, I'm guessing I probably haven't even played a good fraction of the games on his list now
That's
because
true.
a lot of them are
That's
like
true.
solo or ones that I just haven't gotten to the table
Yeah.
yet.
Probably. Then we go and we're looking at the unique to our lists, individual list games.
Oh, okay.
So how many do you think are only on your list? Do not appear on ours.
We have how many crossing over? 21? 22? So unique? 26.
Lower?
15.
Higher?
17.
Higher?
18.
Higher? 20! You've got 20 unique. So now, looking at me, do you think I have less or more unique games than you?
Less.
Yes. I've got 15 unique. How about Pepper?
He's got to have the most. Although he does have the same amount of crossover or more. Unique games?
Mm-hmm.
17.
24.
Oh.
He does have the most. So
A
yeah,
unique Pepper.
So he
15,
is the
20,
most.
24.
He's the most unique.
He is pretty unique. I'm surprised I didn't have more
Special.
unique ones.
Special.
Because I feel like I have some on there that are
Yeah.
like the little bit more heavy games that you guys
I feel
don't
like
like
a
as much.
couple of those Mac has. Like
That's true.
Pulsar.
Yeah.
I
She
like
just wanted...
Pulsar and Circadians. That feels like ones that would be unique
That's
to your
true,
list,
but
but
then
it's
she-
actually to her.
Right.
Dune Imperium.
But she must have picked some of those games just knowing that this stat was going to
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah.
And she didn't want
You got
me to
me.
have the most.
You got me.
Wow. Wow. But then we go to new to the list this year. How many do you think are new to your list?
Probably 10.
Close. You had 14 new.
Oh,
And Pepper had 15 new, so it's pretty close to you.
wow.
And then I had 18 new.
Wow.
So I'm always cult of the new.
This is not surprising. He's all about the hotness.
I'm surprised since I do kind of have that cult of the new games to my list that I would have the least unique.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because usually you'd think those would be new ones, but like you
Yeah.
said, there may have been some that popped on my list
yep,
that
yep.
weren't on there before, that weren't actually
Yeah.
new this last year. Yeah, then we get into some biggest drops and biggest rises.
Oh.
So do you know or remember what your biggest drop was for a game that dropped off your list completely and then just biggest drop that stayed on your list?
I think Orleans is the biggest drop off. And I don't remember what the biggest movement I had was. I think it was like 20 or... It's like 20 drops that it went. It has to be in my Explorers.
Wow, cheater. Yes, you were right. So Orleans dropped. It was your number 22, but it dropped completely off your list.
I can't believe she got that.
I know. You knew that right away. And then, yeah, Explorers was down 33 spots from the prior year.
Shem, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
It's still on your list.
I know.
Still top 50. Now, if you can only guess what Peppers are.
Well, I know a bunch of his fell off the list.
Doesn't he?
Dinosaur Island.
Although that only had to drop a couple spots from last.
Yahtzee. Cribbage.
Cribbage is still on his
Cribbage
list.
is still
Oh,
there.
okay.
Cribbage will be there till the end of time, Mac.
Fancy.
I don't think you're going to guess this.
I don't know.
He had Abyss at number 18, and that dropped completely off his list. And then Seven Wonders Duel stayed on his list, but it dropped down 43 spots. So it's clinging on. It's going to probably be one of the biggest drops we will ever
That's
have.
two Bruno
to
Catala
stay on the
games right
list.
there. Oh my
That's a
god.
miracle.
Do you even like Bruno?
I don't know. I'm questioning everything.
And then, actually, for me, my biggest drop that stayed on the list was Orleans. So we both had that one drop quite a bit. And it went down 35
That
spots.
dang 10 by 10.
At 10 by 10. But then
Killer.
my other biggest drop that came off the list was Dinosaur Island, but that was mostly because Dinosaur World. So that was at 18. So then my next one after that would have been actually number 19, Whistle Mountain, came off my list. So that one might just be because I don't think I've actually played it since the last time. we did this list. But we're going to get there with our alphabet soup. It's just one of the last letters. So now we'll get into the positives of biggest risers.
Oh.
What do you think was your biggest riser, and from something that was on your list before, biggest riser, and then something that came on completely brand new, spanking new?
Well, I know that one. That's Red Rising. Because that jumped from nothing to 2, I think. Was it on my list last week?
Wrong.
Oh.
It was on your list, Mac.
Okay. Why do I feel like we didn't get it? But we did, didn't we?
It was
Is that the biggest jump then?
Nope.
Oh. Oh, Obsession.
Nope.
There's something new that was higher than Obsession? Everdell?
It was not in your list last year.
Everdell was not on your
okay.
list last
It
year.
was our giveaway game.
45 spots! Wow. Even I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, I didn't even realize that it had gone up that high.
I really do like Everdell.
Yes. And then Council of 4 moved up 25 spots.
Oh, well that makes sense. I really like Council of 4 too. These all make sense. They're all games I like. No wonder they're on my top 50.
And then Pepper, to make up for his Bruno hatred of dropping, he had King Domino go up 21 spots.
Wow.
Randomly. A game we've had
It is
for
surprising.
pretty much our entire
Finally
career.
giving it the credit
Went
it
up 20
deserves.
spots.
Right. And then Dinogenics, brand new to the list, up 39 spots.
There we go.
Which, yeah, I forgot that it had been that high.
Yeah. Couldn't quite put it into the top 10, but...
No, it couldn't
11.
quite make that. But mine could. Cthulhu Death May Die jumped from off the list to number 7.
Wow.
So 43 spots. Well, at least 43 spots.
Yeah.
I didn't even have it before.
Did
And
Bruno
then
design?
Everdell actually went up my highest as well.
Oh.
Well, it wasn't new, but it went up 24 spots.
Wow.
So it rose a lot in both of our lists.
That dang 10 by 10.
And 10 by 10 brought that one up. I don't know.
Giveth and it taketh away.
It does.
It rose Everdell up.
Yeah, it's surprising that it could do that much damage to Orleans and Explorers, but then bring Everdell all the way to the top.
I think it just speaks to the game.
Replayability. But yeah, so then you made me think of doing, since C is our most popular letter in our game collection, how many C games, I went and looked at how many C games everyone had on their list. And I guess, who do you think has the most C games?
Jesse?
This is very good information here.
Jesse?
Yes, you're right. How many do you think he has? Out of 50 games.
10?
Yes.
Oh.
20% of his games start with C.
Is that the largest?
Hmm?
Is that the largest percentage?
I did not look,
Oh, okay.
but I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I had 9,
Okay.
so I was right up there. And you only had 5, so you don't like the C games.
I was
quite
trying to
as much.
name them in my head because I'm like, okay.
Even though one of them is your top game of all time. Doesn't make it count for any more.
Just because it starts with C doesn't mean anything.
Right. But then I got into something even more useful, and it is the first letters of each of our names.
Oh.
How many times that letter appears in any part of the title of all of our games?
Any part.
So do you have any guess on how often Z appears on my list?
None.
Oh, you got that right. I'm trying to remember. I think the only time Z appeared on any of the lists was your list, Pepper. I think Gon's shown clever.
Oh.
And that's if you don't call it, that's
We
pretty
had-
clever.
We had to go German to get a Z in there.
Yes. But yes. Who's out of your 2 letters do you think shows up on their list more often?
It's gotta be me. But I don't think there's that
It's
many.
gotta be me. I was actually surprised, because I thought, M, I'm like, maybe they don't start with M, but I thought it'd
We'll
be
have
a
it
very
in.
common letter.
I wouldn't think they'd have it in J's.
But, yes, so he only had 4 with J. Which didn't surprise me either,
Yeah.
but It was probably more than I
quite a
thought,
bit.
because I figured it wasn't going to show up that much. But you only had 13 M's, which I thought I felt like going into it there'd be a few more. There were a lot of N's I noticed when I was going through them, but
Yeah.
M isn't, I guess, as common as I thought. I guess I don't know if I played Wheel of Fortune. I guess I don't know how good of a letter M is compared to the rest of them.
Well, see, that's why they do RSTLNE,
That's true.
not RSTLME.
RESPECT.
Those are the letters, right?
It
That
should-
Pat always gives them? RSTLNE?
Probably.
Yes.
Yes, it is. But no. So I found that kind of interesting because I would have guessed there would have been more M's somewhere in there, those words, but only 13. Then we've got how many games actually got better or were on our list in previous years, but rose
Oh, okay.
or got better.
Got better.
Got betterly ranked.
Moved on up. Or down.
I
however
feel
you
like
say
I
it.
didn't have a lot of upwards movement. So probably like 5.
You actually had 13.
Oh, wow.
You had the second most.
Wow.
We were all pretty close here. Pepper had
Shucks.
12, and I had 15. So I had the most games that continued to get better, I guess, as the year happened. What are you looking? You don't. She doesn't believe me.
I was just curious.
But yeah, then we go into the other side of
Yeah.
things where they're dropping. And I believe we only counted the ones that were dropped but did not fall off the list. And you did have the most of that. So you had 22 of them drop.
Oh, wow.
So they got worse for you. Or they just made way for some better games, maybe.
Yeah.
She likes pretty much her entire list. A little less this year.
Wow.
And Pepper had 20, so he was right there with you.
Okay.
And I only had 14, so my list
Wow. You're a
must
very
have...
positive guy.
It must be. So, they either...
Surprisingly, he's the cult of the new, but yet loyal to the old dogs.
They either dropped... They dropped very minimally, or they just dropped completely off my list.
He's done with them.
I don't want to look at you anymore.
And then how many do you think stayed the same over all of our lists combined? Stayed in
Oh,
the same spot as they were last year.
I think I only had like a couple that did that. So, 15?
Less.
10.
Less.
9.
Less.
6.
Well, now you went too far. 7. We had 7 stay in the same space. And shockingly, the one that shocks me the most is yours. One of your two.
Yes.
Why?
Well, 3 of the 7 are our top games that stayed the same. So
Yep.
we had 4 to work with there. And then Wingspan stayed the same for me.
Cartographers?
And then,
Lanterns?
Lanterns did not stay the same.
Oh, it moved up.
Quacks I actually ranked mine differently this year, so I was surprised. I didn't even really look at how I listed things last year, but that one ended up in the same spot for me. So I had 3. I had the most stay the same. Pepper, what was your other one? That stayed the same?
I had Quacks as well.
But then,
I had Quacks number 1, and I don't see another here. I thought I had another.
you had Quacks number 1?
I had my number 1 Quacks at 5.
Oh, you just had 2.
Yeah, just had 2. So then it is. Yep. Yeah. Just 2.
Yeah, and then you have your other one.
I don't
Shockingly,
It is just
at number, 48?
at number 48.
know. Sagrada?
Sagrada. Stayed the
Consistent.
same.
All these games coming and going. You're just waving by.
We got nothing in the centers of ours. Somehow you have one hanging on, clinging to the end of the 50.
What?
And it's just the same.
I don't get to play Sagrada very often.
I'm not
and-
saying that. It's just funny to me that
Like you
out
would
of all the
think-
games that could have stayed the same for you, it was your 48. Just didn't move.
That's just crazy. You'd think there would just be one game somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Past 10, before 48. And one of us would have the same. But
You'd certainly think so. I don't know.
She's a fighter.
that's interesting.
But then we kind of go back into a joint thing of How many games were there? Different games were there? 104?
104, yeah.
So, out of our 150 picks,
46 of them were crossovers.
yes. In one way
Yeah.
or another. And then how many of those 104, Mackie, do you think we have at least one expansion for?
Ugh.
Looks we got all the expansions on the walls here, so
45.
36. Wow. I guess
a pretty
I
good
was
guess.
surprised that it was that high.
Well, we do have a lot of expansion.
We do, but I felt like some of them were multiple for the same game. So
Yeah.
I didn't think there'd be that many, but maybe you thought it was going to be possibly higher too. So
Yeah.
maybe I don't know. For some reason I was thinking that seemed high.
I think it is high.
Yeah.
Considering how many, not all games have expansions, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's a pretty big percentage. I mean, it's like what,
That's true.
33% almost.
yeah.
That's true. And some of those that we counted are things that,
Like come
Yeah, like some-
kind of come in the game.
right.
For the ones that we got, like Suburbia Collector's Edition,
Oh.
comes with expansions in it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of counted some of those things. So some of them we didn't really get an additional thing for, but goes to show, I guess, if we really like a game, where one out of 3 times we'll probably get an expansion for it if it has it.
Oh, great. Now they're going to be targeting us for...
Then we'll look, and all the games that we don't have expansions for just don't have expansions. I guess it is 100%.
Yes. Then we get into our 3-way crossovers.
Oh, boy.
You know how many we had last year?
5?
We actually had 12.
Oh, wow.
I didn't remember us having that many.
We were vibing.
We were vibing. And I guess, do you know what any of those would be? Or do you want me to just read them off?
Tapestry.
Yes.
Wingspan.
Yes.
What's a game we all like? I'm losing it after that.
Should have made a quiz though out of this.
I don't know. King Domino.
That was not last year.
No, just one.
Nope.
Jesse doesn't like
She
anything.
thought-
I liked more things last year.
He did like some more things last year.
What do we got?
But yes, we had Isle of Cats.
Okay.
All of us had. Ethnos
Last year?
last year. Sushi Go Party. Viscounts of the West Kingdom. Red Rising. Clank. Raiders. It's a Wonderful World. He had Tapestry. Wingspan. Quacks of Quedlinburg. And Bunny Kingdom.
Okay.
And now this year we only have 7.
Oh, we're growing.
Do you know what
We're
those are?
growing apart.
Do you know what those ones are?
Just one. No.
You were the only one that has that
Oh,
game on
okay.
it.
Bunny Kingdom.
Yes.
Tapestry.
Yes.
Wingspan. No, that came off your list, didn't it?
It's on there.
Okay. Sushi Go Party. Came
Nope,
off his list.
Dropped off his
That
list.
one came off.
King Domino.
That one actually went on my list
Yes.
to make it a 3-way crossover. Last year you guys had that.
Is Viscount still on there?
I dropped it.
Well, then I do not know.
Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Oh, yes, Quacks.
So 4 of them stayed from last year.
Okay.
And those were what you started. Tapestry, Wingspan. I thought you were going to name all 4 of them. Quacks of Quedlinburg and Bunny Kingdom have been
Okay.
3-way crossovers 2 years in a row. And then the other new ones.
Well, then, yeah, you brought on the King Domino. You got on that train. And there's another one that he also added to his list
That you guys both
that
had
we
last
had
year.
last year. And then there's one that you played for the first time and added to your list.
Oh, Dune Imperium? Rajas?
You're the only one with Dune Imperium on your list.
Oh.
Rajas of the Ganges.
Rajas of the Ganges.
And the other one is one of our giveaway games we
Well,
did.
you were. No, never mind. I was totally
Oh, boy.
blanking.
Oh, boy. What were you about to say there?
I was thinking of Dominion Intrigue. That's what I was thinking in my head. I don't know why. But yes, it was
It
Dominion.
is Dominion.
So yes, Dominion, King Domino, and Rajas were the new ones this year.
Which is interesting because we all had those on list last year. There's
Mhm.
not like a new to us game that we all love. It's
Right.
oldies. but goodies.
Oldies but goodies.
Getting the respect they deserve.
And then the last but not least, I think, Jesse's going to talk a little bit about the top 10, how those things kind of changed for us from 2021 to 2022.
So we'll kind of start off with Zach's list from last year. He had his number 10 viticulture, actually dropped down to 24 this year, which is interesting. I didn't think that would be a game that would ever drop for you.
I feel like I didn't play it that often. And then I think we kind of put it off. Like, I wanted to play it sometimes, but we kind of put it off knowing there was going to be an expansion.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of just delayed it.
That's true.
So it kind of dropped with less plays.
That's true.
We were panicking trying to get our 10 by 10 done, so.
That's true.
Another one that dropped from number 9 to 18 was Brass Birmingham, and I think that's another one that you just didn't play very much. Like you said, Quacks.
We tried! We played it
once.
wrong.
Played it wrong until maybe the last few
If
times.
we had played it in between there, we wouldn't have played it wrong.
Now we're gonna play it wrong next time it gets to
Probably.
that table.
Quacks Quedlinburg, again, the same at number 8 last year and this year. Raiders of the North Sea dropped from your number 7 to 11, although it kind of became Raiders of Scythia this year. So technically it dropped off the list completely.
I was
That's
gonna
true.
say.
And Scythia made a great debut. Then Glenmore 2 Chronicles, another big drop down to 29 from number 6.
Lack of plays.
Terraforming Mars went from 5 to 4, so that's good. After the Empire dropped from 4 to 15. Wingspan stayed the same at 3. Dwellings pulled kind of an After the Empire, dropped from 2 to 14. And Tapestry obviously stayed the same. In the game,
3 stayed the same.
yeah, you did. That's very
And 1 go up.
consistent. That's true. Go up 1, and then some pretty big drops. But yeah, then this year, to kind of fill in those gaps, Champs of Midgard made a debut onto your number 10. It's a Wonderful World moved up 3 spots into number 9. And like you said, Death May Die debuting at number 7. Who would think? A debut at number 10, still not your best debut.
Right.
Crazy. Like you said, Everdell moved up 24 spots from number 30 to 6.
10 by 10 really helped that one.
It did.
5 Tribes moved from number 17 to 5, of course.
That might have been playing with the number a little bit.
And Maracaibo went from 16 to number 2.
So some big moves up,
Some
too.
big moves up and some big moves down.
It's still just shocking to me how much you love Maracaibo.
I
really love it.
I just don't understand it.
I don't believe it's legit. I don't think it's true love.
Wow. It is. It's that
We'll
good.
see. We'll see.
It's that good
We'll
of a
see
game.
in 10 years' time
10 years time.
what the stats show. But yeah, last year, Mac had number 10, Ticket to Ride London. That ended up dropping 1 spot to 11 this year.
Hates it now.
Lack of plays.
Ethnos moved from 9 to 6. Sushi Go Party from 8 to 9. Hadara from 7 to 13. Karuba from 6 to 10. It's a Wonderful World from 5 to 7. Lanterns from 4 to 3. So very, very
Wow.
consistent. But she's going to break it up here with Space Base from 3 to 20. I wonder why that is.
Steven,
I'm just glad she's not calling us.
Jesse, and Zach.
I think it was probably more us.
Yes.
No.
You've heard the story before, probably. And Tapestry moved from 2 to 4, and Cartographers obviously stayed number 1. So very, very consistent.
Did I totally missed it. Did you say Red Rising?
He just saying.
Oh, you just saying
Yeah,
that.
I was
Sorry.
going last year.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
Sorry.
exactly. Yeah,
Spoils.
time. Give
Not
me
even
time.
listening.
Oops.
But yeah, then she had a debut this year, number 8 for Obsession, which she talked about a little bit. Then
Oh.
Oh.
Obsession. Oh. Bingo.
Everdell again, number 5, even a better debut. You too, with your freaking huge debut.
Huge debuts.
Look, when I love something, I love something.
I don't know if that was the case. I think that 10 by 10 really helped Everdell.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have forced you to play it
Imagine
10
what a 10
times,
by
it would have
10
been 52.
This
Imagine
is
what a
true.
10 by 10 of obsession
That one
would
takes
do.
like 10 games to learn how to play.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. And then you were pretty consistent, so there's only one more new game, was Red Rising from number 13 to number 2.
Yeah, we're all that
Very
crazy.
consistent, other than like 2 huge debuts.
Right.
Like, it just reminds me of like when I was a child and I had like my favorite stuffed animals and like they'd get placed along the side of my bed in like the order that I loved them.
Wow.
And I'm like just
That
thinking
poor thing
like,
at the end.
I'm just thinking to myself like these are the board games I'd cuddle up with at night.
Wow. Oh, the poor one at the end.
I know, and I
You
watched
just tell him it goes the other way.
and after you watch Toy Story, you're like traumatized as a child because you're like, it knows I don't love it as much as I love my sheep.
It doesn't know, don't worry. And it still loves you just as much.
I know. It's in the house somewhere.
Wow. The least loved.
Speaking of least loved, I had quite a few big drops in my top 10.
What? Wow. Pepper, you better go.
Sushi Go Party from 10 to 15, not a big one. Jaws of the Lion from 9 to 37.
Ooh.
Carcassonne went from 8 to 10, so pretty consistent. Seven Wonders Duel from 7 to 50. So that's what happens when you try to pull something funny here and put it on the number. So it's going to happen to your 5 tribes at number 5.
It's
Gonna
gonna
go
go.
He does
up.
really love Five Tribes,
He does.
though.
I really like it too. Isle of Cats went from 6 to 12. Quacks of Quellenberg stayed at number 5. Clank Legacy from 4 to 20. Bunny Kingdom moved up a spot to number 2 from 3. Dwellings moved from 2 to 3. And Tapestry stayed the course at number 1. And then the new ones to fill those gaps was Pandemic moved up from 15 to 9. Space Base from 13 to 8. Lost Cities from 14 to 7. Coloretto from 19 to 6.
I saw that. I was like, because I was just looking back at your guys' top 10, and I was like, Coloretto? This kid.
And then finally After the Empire from 11 to 4. So just kind of a lot of games that just were just outside the top 10, kind of moved down, and the ones that were in there dropped huge amounts.
Yeah, but you didn't really have too many.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 2 or 3 of them that dropped quite a bit, but the rest of yours was pretty consistent.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess it felt to me like outside of mine that stayed in the same spots, there was a lot more movement, it seemed like.
Yeah, yeah.
Comparatively to you guys'. Maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah, consistently you had things moving up to the high teens and the 20s and
No, maybe that
30s.
wasn't so much. But
I mean, there's only 50 numbers.
That's true.
Quite a bit. That's halfway down the list.
that is true. So,
But yeah.
yeah, I guess.
So Mac is definitely the most consistent between us 3 for her top 10.
Do you guys
She knows
have
what she likes.
Do you guys have predictions for next year? I mean, we did just get a shipment of 25 games, so
It was
Hey,
only
25.
16.
Yes, and 3 of those
That
are
sounds
going to
like
be
I can-
prizes for our
That's right.
Not Your Average Board Game Tournament,
right. But after
Gotta push that.
which
After-
hopefully we can keep all 3.
it is
It's
card
amongst
shark.
us. You gotta, come on, Mac.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was curious because like after playing through the collection this year and then like all these new ones, you know, what you guys are thinking you might see next year.
I think I've played this year at least, well, I guess since we've done that, it probably hasn't been too many more. Most of the ones that I liked
Yeah.
that we played up to that point when we filmed it got onto the list if they were going to.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've quite played a handful, maybe 3-ish I've probably played since then, 3 to 5 that could maybe hop on there that I hadn't played before, or the replaying it kind of gave me those.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I said, as we've been playing more Stonemaier games, and I've really been enjoying the playthroughs of those, I feel like I could have a few resurgences for some of those. Never.
We haven't forced him to play that one yet.
No.
He will.
My little scythe, maybe.
How about you?
He's got bad taste. What?
Well, how about you?
Well, I've played about 50 new games this year, and I would guess probably 25 of them were before we filmed this or whatever. So I think because games take a long time for me to warm up unless it comes in and sweeps me off my feet, that we probably won't see a whole lot of new games next year, but we probably will. Actually, we might see a couple of new games. We'll see. Things can drop off. Things can come on.
I don't know. It's tough.
Sometimes you just get tired of certain ones at the end. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like
We've also played Red Rising quite a bit since you made this list, so that's not helping the other games.
No, but I think it does.
It's really fighting for that one spot.
I think it solidifies for me like
smacking cartographers.
Cartographers probably is number one overall, just because I have control in that game of I can choose what I do with it, and if it's the wrong play, then it's the wrong play. You know, like you do your best. In Red Rising, I've recently found that at higher player counts, it is chaos. Like I love it still, but it was hard to manage chaos, I think, in the moment for me. So still love it though. Still love it.
So yeah, I would think we'd continue as we play more and more. There'll probably be ones that go on.
Yeah,
and
it's so hard with those last 15 spots.
Yeah.
I feel like that group of games kind of extends another 20 spots that just don't quite make it, and there's room for a lot of movement there.
So,
not that I want to shoot a top 100 or anything, but I do feel like the 50 is like the games, like the ultimate games, and so it's like, what do we put on here? So much pressure. Feel bad if they're not on there, because then they're almost just not even worth naming. But it's like, I still like this game.
Not even worth naming.
It's 51. Well, that's what it feels like. If they don't make the top 50, then it's like,
if you're
you don't
top
even
50,
like
you're
that
the
game.
games. If you're 51, not even worth mentioning.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Maybe we'll do a top 100.
No. You want a top 100? Leave a like, comment, subscribe down
We
below.
just need one person.
We just need
to
one
comment
person.
They want it.
We need 100 people to like this video.
Wow. We're going to need you to light that like button up.
We're going to need 100 people to make it this far in the video and then like the video.
That would be pretty incredible. But
You can do it.
You've got a year's time.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's all the stats we kind of had. Like I said before, if you want us to look at anything else, leave a comment below and we can see if we can get that information together. I don't know that we will be able to or not if you want some really in-depth things, but we'll do our best.
We'll have to put a PowerPoint together or something.
I was thinking you'd probably use Excel next year and kind of mark some of these.
Do a voiceover? Oh, I see. Okay.
Just to make it a little easier to do it. We were doing a lot of it by hand, so
and
just makes it a little easier.
And,
right.
But yeah, I'm interested to see kind of as the years go on, kind of
the trends.
What happens. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm sure if we put it in Excel too, you can kind of maybe make some different charts and stuff to actually look at the things.
Yeah.
My little accountant.
Wow.
My little mathematician.
Wow. But anyway, we hope to see you on our next video, and as always, don't forget to
keep on nibbling
on our content.